Welcome to the channel, guys. We are back again, and today we're going to be talking about my top 10 designers for life, so stay tuned for that. And if you like the content, guys, hit that like and subscribe button. I really do appreciate it. Now, I haven't actually done a list like this before, and it is always fun to think about what fragrances you really love, and if you had to narrow your collection, what would you really keep in it? So I decided to go for that today, and we'll be starting in no particular order, actually. It's hard to really rank them, although I do have a couple that I love the most, and I will point those out when I get to them. The first one is one I still have to get a bottle of, but I absolutely love, and that is Replica by the Fireplace. This is the perfect fragrance for the colder months, fall, winter. It's warm, it's inviting, it's a nice, cozy fragrance. It really does smell like hazelnut or something like that, and a roasting fire. So it's really, really nice, really inviting, and if you have somebody to cuddle up to, this is a great fragrance for that. Some people don't like the fact that it has a bit of a charcoaly smell, especially when you smell it really close to your skin. Personally, I don't mind that. I do like this fragrance all around, and it performs really well. But yeah, there is that aspect of it that some people don't enjoy. I get good performance with this one too. It does last around the 8-hour mark, and this one is actually quite beastly when I first spray it on or I first dab it on. So I don't actually have to use that much of it, which is always nice. It does definitely perform quite well. The next one is one I still have to add to the collection as well, and that is Chanel Allure Sport. And this is not the Oud LX Trim version. This is the regular Allure Sport, which I actually prefer quite a bit. There's something I find a little bit screechy about the Oud LX Trim, and it doesn't really work for me, but this one is really enjoyable, and I do want to pick it up, although I don't want to pay retail, and Chanel, it can be a little bit harder to find on discounters and stuff like that, so I'm still waiting for the opportunity. But when I do find this one at a good price, I'm definitely going to be picking this one up. It's really good for the spring, really good for the summer, so especially in the upcoming months, this is a great one to have. The next one on the list is probably no surprise to anyone, and that is Dolce Gabbana, the One EDP. This one is a classic masculine fragrance, tobacco, amber. Really, this is a masterpiece. This is one of these ones that I fell in love with the first time I put it on, and it's been my go-to. If I go on a date or something, I usually do put this one on, at least for the first date, and it is very sensual. This is one that women do tend to love. It's just easy to wear. It's very versatile as well, although it is better suited for maybe an evening out, a date kind of thing. I mean, you can wear this one just about any time. Probably not so much in the summer, but you know, on a cooler spring day, in the fall, in the winter. I've worn this one to the office. This is just pleasant, very mass appealing, and an excellent, excellent fragrance. I love this one. I will probably always have a bottle of this because it is one of those fragrances that I don't feel like is going to go out of style. It's very, very well put together, and that is Dolce Gabbana, the One EDP. While we're on the subject of evening out fragrances, I have to put on the list Wanted by Night by Azzaro. This is a really nice, inexpensive fragrance that you can get that's very, very good for when you're going out. It has mandarin orange in it, which I really like, and adds a nice sort of juiciness to it. It has a very strong cinnamon vibe, and it is quite a performer. So this one, I would definitely consider something that you do want to wear on a night out. It's very sweet, spicy, very seductive, and it's very, very enjoyable. So I do really like this one. It's a good one to wear maybe if you're going outdoors, maybe if you've already worn the One EDP recently, or you're just looking for something a little bit different that fits the same occasion. Azzaro, Wanted by Night. The next one on the list is one that is a little bit of a polarizing fragrance, so some people really don't like it. Some people really do love this one. One thing that can be said about it though is that it's high quality fragrance, and that is Ombre Noir Oud LX Trim. I actually considered putting also the Sport on, but I wasn't going to have two of essentially the same fragrance. The Sport is a little bit more of a wearable version of this fragrance, but this is just such a nice rendition of a vetiver fragrance. You can find this one online. I think I paid $25 for this. So it's very inexpensive, but you can find it on discounters for a really, really great price. and it performs really well. This one better suited obviously for the fall and the winter. It does have that sort of dark mood to it, and it definitely has a little bit of that inky kind of darkness, and it certainly has a very nice vetiver note. So if you like vetiver fragrances, this is one of the best designer vetiver fragrances, and definitely price value proposition is really high on this one. So I do enjoy this one a lot, and that is definitely going to make my list. Next one on the list, you know I had to have a blue fragrance, and I went with Bleu de Chanel Parfum. This is probably one I've had the longest. Almost made my way halfway through this bottle, so I have put a good dent in this one. And I choose this one over things like Sauvage or YSL, although they are good fragrances and I do enjoy this one, those ones. I like this one a little bit more. Has a little bit of a sentimental value because it was the first fragrance that I really fell in love with. Really started me collecting and getting more fragrances, but also it's really, really well done. This is one of those ones that's very nice, masculine, mass appealing, but well blended, very smooth. And I do prefer the smell of the Parfum over the other ones. I find, for example, the EDP is really good, and if you want better projection, definitely the EDP has that. But it does have this sort of sharp edge that, especially if you smell it close up, is a little bit harsh. This has none of that. Very rounded, very nice and gentlemanly, and this is a perfect fragrance to wear to nice occasions or to wear to the office. And I kind of like the fact that it does sit a little closer to the skin because of the type of fragrance that it is. I wouldn't want this one to be really screechy. This is just a really enjoyable fragrance that is a little bit more classy as far as especially the designer fragrances go, and very well done. Do enjoy this one a lot. Next on the list is a new acquisition, and that is Bulgari Man Wood Essence. Really enjoy this one, and I think for the spring and the summer this is a great fragrance. Fresh, uplifting, has a nice neroli note with a woody base, and it does, unlike a lot of fragrances that it gets compared to, for example Neroli Portofino, this one lasts quite a while. I get easily between 6 to 8 hours every time I wear this one, and it does perform really well. Nice projection for the first couple of hours. I will do a full review on this one, but I do definitely enjoy this one. And since this one is started to hit discounters, I got this 2 ounce for $42, which I think is a very, very fair price. And I really enjoy this one. So it's just a nice, clean, pleasant fragrance to wear, and definitely one I'm going to enjoy wearing in the next few months. So we are actually in the top 3. The other ones were kind of unranked, but these next 3 fragrances stand out the most for me as designers, and they're definitely my top 3, at least as of right now, designer fragrances. And they're also going to be kind of in no particular order with that top 3 because it is kind of hard to say, but some of these will of course be no surprise to anyone, and the first one I'm going to talk about, Spice Balm Extreme. Absolutely love this fragrance. It's just such a beautiful, spicy vanilla fragrance that transitions from very spicy and very in your face to a nice, smooth, creamy, sweet base. This one also has what I call at times a bit of a Coca-Cola gummy vibe, which I absolutely love when fragrances have that kind of a vibe to it. So I really do enjoy this one. This is great for the fall, great for the winter, anytime it's colder. This is a great one. And I actually did consider putting Spice Balm Fresh on here, which has been discontinued, but I do like it for the summer, and for me, I don't get terrible performance from it. It does last on my skin for about 6 hours, which isn't dreadful for a more fresh fragrance. And it is a little bit different because it's a lighter version of this, essentially, and I find it to be quite wearable if you're in the office or if you're out and about on a warmer day. But anyways, Spice Balm had to be on this list. I love this one, absolutely amazing. I go back and forth between whether it's the Extreme or the actual, the regular Spice Balm that I like more. Both are amazing fragrances, but for now on this list, I put Spice Balm Extreme. Next on the list is my favorite designer leather fragrance, and perhaps my favorite leather fragrance, Tom Ford Ombre Leather. Some people describe this as a more wearable Tuscan leather, and I think that's probably a fairly fair description. It's very nice, comes off as a nice, sweet leather in the opening, and it does transition into a really beautiful suede fragrance. And this is one that I also enjoy because it's not crazy strong. I prefer my fragrances to be a little bit of a scent cloud, but I don't want to fill up a whole room. And the projection on this one, the performance on this one is very nice. It doesn't dominate somebody's nose. It's not like this is the only thing that they're going to be able to smell. They will get whiffs of this if they're in your area, and that's perfect for me, perfect for my style. And I really do enjoy this one, and I got a great deal on this 100ml, so very happy to have this one in my collection. The weather is unfortunately warming up, so I won't get too much more wearings out of this until next year, but once the weather starts to cool down or on any cool days, definitely possible to break this one out. Really enjoy this one, and I actually recommend this one to people that say they don't like leather fragrances. This is a good first leather fragrance. This is the one that made me start to really appreciate leather a lot more, and so I think it's quite good for what it does. Definitely love this one. Tom Ford Ombre leather. The next on the list I got just in time for the season, and ultimately this is my favorite designer of all time, for now at least. This list obviously can change quite quickly depending on my taste or mood, but that fragrance is Terre d'Hermes Eau Très Fraîche. Actually not a huge fan of the Terre d'Hermes line. I don't mind the original, I don't mind the Eau Intense Vetiver, I don't mind the Parfum, but this one I absolutely love, and I did manage to pick this up for a good price online. And this one is just beautiful because it's a nice citric heavy fragrance. You get a lot of that orange, and that orange comes off zesty, a little bit bitter, has that nice orange peel vibe, and the vetiver takes a little bit of a background. But this has a nice masculine woody touch to it. Very much enjoy this one. Glad to finally have it. This is one that I'm going to be wearing a lot this spring and summer. Very, very good for the warmer days. I think it's classy, it's mass appealing, it's really, really well done, really well put together. And I do actually get pretty good performance in this one, close to that 8-hour mark, which is good for a fresher fragrance. It's not like crazy projector. It does project pretty good for the first 2-3 hours. It does sit a little bit closer to the skin after that, but it does dry down this really nice woody fragrance with still a little bit of that bitterness that you get in the opening. Really enjoy this one. If you haven't tried out Eau Très Fraîche, I definitely recommend checking this one out. Great fragrance from Hermes, and that's my list, guys. If you had to pick 10 designers right now from your collection, what fragrances would they be? Leave a comment down below, let me know. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.